Okay, here is my bass rig. Yes, I'm going through the pedal board in a second. Just saying for those folks out there that always say, well, what are your amp settings? The thing that doesn't matter is, unless you have the exact same rig I have, which is highly doubtful, it doesn't matter what my settings are. Plus, if you're using a different bass guitar than I'm using, which I'm using a 92 Jazz Bass Plus with the active Kubicki system in it, then chances are that doesn't matter either. So these are Hartkey 4.5 cabinets, so they're 4 10s and a 5 in each one, and then 5-inch speakers in this 4-speaker cabinet up here. And the rack, okay, that has, of course, the power supply at the top, the chord tuner underneath it. We have an Alesis 3630 compressor underneath it, which is where the signal starts right after the tuner. So it's plugged into the tuner, goes directly out into the compressor first, so that's where the signal chain starts. So we go right in to the compressor. After that, I go into a 31 band EQ. It's a Rain ME30B, in case you need to know. I use this as an EQ directly after the compressor because not all of my basses are the same. So I use it to strictly act as an EQ before the pedals start. So it's acting as kind of a preamp in and of itself. So I only have 80 boosted a little bit, since the low EQ on my bass is at 100, so I need the little bit of 80 kicked in. Otherwise I just use the volume output on it to make up the difference on my other active basses. They're not all the same volume, so that's it. Otherwise just used as an active boost, just slightly. Okay. At the very end of my signal chain are the two Hartkey HA5500 heads. Of course they have no bass, treble, mids. It's all done via the equalizers that are on the front of it. We do have a low pass and a high pass on each one. As you can see here, they are split and set together at the end of the chain. Okay, so each head actually drives each set of cabinets below. Okay, so that's the end of the chain. So it comes out of the pedal board and into the amplifiers after all is said and done. Okay, as far as the compressor goes, how much I'm compressing it, you'll be able to tell in the gain reduction in red. So I'm running about this much. So not a whole bunch. Okay, I am compressing it, but again, not so much that everything is squashed too much. Okay, the first thing we have over here, we have the Moog expression pedal. Now that is actually plugged into the Electro-Harmonix mono bass synth. Now there are a ton, meaning 11, different presets that you can fully edit and save into here. I'm not going through all of them because the best thing for you to do is go through individual videos that the dealers have posted. The ones that are posted by users usually aren't that great. Some are, some aren't. Let's put it that way. But I'm just going through the pedal rig as basically a whole rig and how I use it, not which ones do how many things. But you can save 11 different things going through here. So I'm just going to show you the main synth thing that I set up. so that I use it for the main sound that I would use on a gig. If I was wanting to change the thing, I'm not going to bend down and be swapping through different effects. I'll be changing that between sets. So with this particular sound, I would take the pedal down. We have this here is actually activating a low frequency oscillator, which the sound is actually this. Which you would use for something like this. Okay, so very cool. I'm sure you recognize the song and the sound. You can go between what is set on the pedal, which is in green mode, or you can go to red mode, which is the one that you have actually saved on that preset. Okay, so we'll get out of that altogether. Right next to it is the MXR bass envelope filter, better known as an auto wah. That's totally controlled by your velocity of playing. If you don't play too hard on it, so basically up at your middle pickup range, you actually get to keep your fidelity mainly intact. Without it kicking in too very much at all. If you hit it harder, of course it's going to react. Just a little bit. But if you move back toward the bridge pickup, you're really going to start getting the effect of the wah. If I use a pick, which I have the attack on this set very low so that it will not trigger unless I'm really wanting to do so. Okay, right next to that we have the Yo-Yo California sound. It's a cheap piece of gear and not meant for bass, but I found it to be awesome for distortion, and I don't use a whole lot of distortion on it, just enough to put some hair on there. It does have a preamp on it, lows, mids, and highs. You'll notice the mids and the highs are wide open. It does not give you that fuzzy sound that is associated with high end on a distortion unit. And I actually have the lows back down a little bit. The voicing on it is oddly enough cranked up to about the 2 o'clock position, and the gain is actually turned down to about 9 o'clock. And the volume is almost zero, but that's what keeps it at the same volume and not louder than my regular clean sound. So this sound kind of a thing, in conjunction with the envelope filter. So you can get kind of a synth sound going that route. You also can do it when you combine it with the Boss Super Octave OC3. I have it set so that the octave is the same volume as the original signal. I'm using 0 of the sub octave, so we're simply getting 1 octave below. polyphonic stuff fine. So with the envelope filter and the overdrive with it, a lot of people ask me to do demos with distortion, so there you go. Okay, the little phaser over here is made by Coco. Actually, it's Nux, N-U-X, was the company that put it out. Then they put it out underneath the name Coco, dropped it by 10 bucks, and that is it. Otherwise, it's 100% identical in everything, including the paint, every last diode, everything. So it is the Nux phaser, again rebranded as Coco. I got this. The pedal next to it is a phaser also, but I got this one because this, unlike this, actually has a mix control. So with the Seymour Duncan Polarin phaser over here, it does not have a mix control. It's the only thing it's missing. Otherwise, it's a superb effect, but it doesn't have the mix. So you cannot put your original signal in with it. So the setting I've chosen for the Coco Now the other one has 3 programmable settings here on the Polarin, made by Seymour Duncan. You can set number 1, click it, go to patch number 2, go to patch number 3, all of which are usable, savable. Or when you go to 4, that's actually whatever is set on the pedal at the time is what you're actually hearing. So in a way you have 4 different settings you could be using, again fully programmable. So I'm just going to go to 3, which is the most extreme of these, and again it does not have a mix control, so therefore it is high-endy and the bass is lost. Again, no mix control. Who thought of this? Okay, so in its extreme So not extremely cool to leave out the mix control, but it's a good sounding unit. But I might return that one or see if I can have a mix control put into it, even a 2-way switch that actually allows it to go directly in the middle as far as the mix goes. Something like that that it can actually fit in the chassis and not screw with the board too much. So that's that one. And oddly enough, the one light stays on all the time. Okay, the Boss Bass Chorus CEB3 over here is just a great sounding chorus. I've tried a lot of choruses and it's become a lost thing of the 80s, but every now and then do some 80s and hey, it's down there, I got it. Okay, so here's the chorus on it. Clean sounding chorus and does exactly what you need it to do. Now the last thing somebody would think you would need is a reverb. I use it strictly for reverb. It's the Boss Reverb RV6 It's almost undetectable when you are playing along. There you can hear it. It's actually set on hall reverb, but if I'm doing some slapping and I don't want it to sound immediately dead, okay, so you get that? Okay, so it gives you just enough of that when you want it. It's one of those that you could almost leave on all the time, but every now and then you do want your just dead thing. So when you don't, hey, click it on, you got it. Okay, so there's a little view of the pedal board. Again, it's just more of a walkthrough than showing you what every setting is. So that's what I have and what I use them for. Hope you dug it, and I'll catch you in another video coming up shortly. Alright, take care of yourselves, and bye-bye.